Welcome to HMO Podcast and Frank Analysis. I am your host, Franco. I want to talk to you guys today about Russiagate and Obamagate and what this all reveals about human psychology. Aaron Monte of The Gray Zone explained how a core allegation of Russiagate, the idea that Russia stole emails from the DNC by hacking into their server and then gave it to WikiLeaks. This firm that was behind and promoting this allegation was CrowdStrike. Now, CrowdStrike was hired by the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. And with 2 years of investigation, Robert Mueller, in his report, he revealed that there was no evidence of Russian hacking, and there was absolutely no evidence of there being any collusion between Trump and the Russian government. In a newly released testimony, CrowdStrike admitted that it never had any evidence of any Russian hacking.
Do you know the date in which the Russians exfiltrated the data from the DNC? And Henry answers this. He says, quote, "We did not have concrete evidence that data was exfiltrated from the DNC, but we have indicators that it was exfiltrated." So what he's saying there is that he has identified who CrowdStrike says are Russian hackers inside the DNC. And we'll get to why even that claim is sketchy in a bit. But on the core issue of whether or not these hackers who he says are Russian took anything from the DNC, he's saying we do not have direct evidence. And he goes on. He says there are times when we can see data exfiltrated and we can say conclusively. But in this case, it appears it was set up to be exfiltrated, but we just don't have the evidence that says it actually left. So what he's saying there is that looking inside the DNC servers, he sees evidence that somebody staged the DNC emails for exfiltration, for taking them from the server, but he cannot tell us whether or not that exfiltration actually happened. And it is a damning admission, because if you can't say definitively that the people you accuse of stealing the emails actually took the emails from the server, then how can you confidently accuse them of stealing those emails? And he says this multiple times. He is asked by Congressmember Stewart of Utah about the emails specifically again, and he says, "There's not evidence that they were actually exfiltrated. There's circumstantial evidence, but no evidence that they were actually exfiltrated." And this is something he says again and again and again and again.
Now, for years, many mainstream news outlets that support Democrats like CNN and the New York Times, the Washington Post, and especially MSNBC, they kept exclaiming over and over again, repeating that there was collusion of Trump and the Russian government, that the walls are closing in, that Trump is going to be removed from office because of this, because he's some Manchurian candidate, despite them not having or providing any direct evidence for these claims. Now, Robert Mueller admitted that they couldn't trace who gave WikiLeaks the emails. And this all corroborates with what Julian Assange said about how the DNC emails did not come from a state actor.
Is the Russian intelligence services.
Hillary Clinton just said, "We know Russian intelligence agencies hacked into the DNC. We know they arranged for emails to be released."
Yeah, so actually she has a slight variant on the "we know." I don't think she says emails. I think she says some documents. Because the difference here is that do state actors hack the political organizations of different countries? Does the United States government do it? Absolutely. Of course, it hacks the political parties of many different countries. Does French intelligence, Chinese intelligence, Russian intelligence hack political parties in order to collect intelligence? Yes. Did they hack the DNC? Has at least one state actor hacked the DNC? If you read very carefully, they say it's been hacked many times over the last 2 years. And our sources say that the DNC security is like Swiss cheese. The DNI, the Director of National Intelligence of the United States, several months ago said that both the RNC, the Republicans, and the DNC were being attacked by a range of actors, from philosophical opponents to states engaged in espionage. Now, the head of the DNI, James Clapper, who's responsible for all US intelligence agencies, he's the boss of the CIA. If anyone knows what's the US intelligence agency...
Now, Michael Flynn, he's being released after being accused by Democrats of hiding information about ties between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. So who orchestrated this framing of Trump-Russia collusion with the intelligence community? Was it Obama? Was it the Clintons? Trump keeps saying Obamagate, and hashtag Obamagate was trending all over Twitter. Now, if it was Obama or if it was the Clintons, why would they do this? Well, it's because they want to protect their legacies. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to make their supporters see that the reason for why people were so desperate to vote for a reality TV show host like Donald Trump is because they're sick and tired of the neoliberal system that works against their lives and that it keeps exacerbating their lives. It's embarrassing for somebody with the resume that Hillary Clinton has to lose to a reality TV show host like Donald Trump, who the media kept portraying as this illiterate racist. And this is after 8 years of having a president that the Democrats and the mainstream news and the entertainment industry kept repeating to people that he's one of the greatest presidents of all time, that everything is fine, everything is great. Even though things weren't great. The income inequality kept getting bigger and bigger. People kept getting poorer, people kept losing their jobs. We went into 5 more wars on top of the 2 that we were already in. It's much easier for them to save face by blaming an external source than to admit a terrible mistake. And it's much easier for people who consider themselves Democrats to turn their blinders on and accept this rationale. And the Democratic Party wanted to have a way to resist Trump without challenging the policy and the system which gives them power. And now big tech, Twitter, Facebook, people at Silicon Valley, they contribute more money to the Democrats than they do to the Republicans. And they've been trying so hard to censor hashtag Obamagate. Twitter removed hashtag Obamagate from how it was trending. Now, what does this all say about human psychology? Loyalty is said to be one of the 6 foundations of morality, according to evolutionary psychologists, and honesty is a part of loyalty. But what if you could get away with making people think you're being honest in order to save yourself? Now, there's a study I want to talk about. In this study by the American Psychological Association, it concluded that people may lie in order to appear honest. Now think about it. Let's go all the way back to when humans first emerged, let's just think about the evolution of humans, living in tribes, we're hunters and gatherers. And within those tribes, honesty evolved as a factor that promotes loyalty, right? And if you're dishonest, that could result in you losing your life. The tribe kills you for being dishonest, for being treasonous. But what if you committed treason or broke some kind of rule within the tribe and you could get away with it? There was nobody else that saw, there was a way for you to get away with it. And if they found out that you committed treason or that you broke some kind of rule, that could result in them killing you. Would you lie to save your life in that situation? Now, this feature in human psychology has been retained over time. And that behavior is displayed a lot in our government. When things work against your favor, and if you could appear like you're being honest, even though you're not, and you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of people who support you, and if you want to retain power, because in the eyes of Obama, the Clintons, or anybody or anyone else who's in government in a similar position. They want to retain that power because to them, power is survival. Now, the authors of this study said, while our findings may seem ironic and counterintuitive, I think many people will recognize a time in their lives when they were motivated to tell a lie to appear honest. Now, another thing that this reveals is that many people in our government, like Obama, are blinded by strong egos. Obama was clouded by pride because Michael Flynn criticized his administration's foreign policy.
And turned a blind eye, or even encouraged it as a counterpoint to Assad. And a secret analysis by the agency you ran, the Defense Intelligence Agency, in August 2012 said, and I quote, "There is the possibility of establishing a declared or undeclared Salafist," it's not secret anymore, it was released under FOI. The quote is, "There is the possibility of establishing a declared or undeclared Salafist principality in eastern Syria, and this is exactly what the supporting powers to the opposition want in order to isolate the Syrian regime." The US saw the ISIL caliphate coming and did nothing.
Yeah, I think that where we missed the point, I mean, where we totally blew it, I think, was in the very beginning. I mean, we're talking 4 years now into this effort in Syria. Most people won't even remember. It's only been a couple of years. The Free Syrian Army, that movement. I mean, where are they today? Al-Nusra, where are they today? And how much have they changed? When you don't get in and help somebody, they're going to find other means to achieve their goals. And I think right now what we have allowed is...
Hold on, you were helping them in 2012.
We've allowed this extremist... these extremist militants to come in.
But why did you allow them to do that, General? You were in post. You were the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency.
Well, those are policy.
I took the liberty of printing out that
issues.
document. This is the memo I quoted from. Did you see this document in 2012? Was this come across your table?
Yeah. I paid very close attention to all this.
So when you saw this, did you not pick up a phone and saying, "What on earth are we doing supporting these Syrian rebels?"
That kind of information is presented, and
what did you do about it?
Those become. I argued about it.
Did you say we shouldn't be supporting these groups?
I did. I mean, we argued about the different groups that were there, and we said, who is it that is involved here? And I will tell you that I do believe that the intelligence was very clear. And now it's a matter of whether or not policy is going to be as clear and as defining and as precise as it needs to be, and I don't believe it was.
Just on what you're saying, just to clarify here, you're saying
if you want to support more analyses like this, then please like, share this video, comment, so you can support and help this channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for watching that segment of Hear Me Out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so you can get the latest on sports, pop culture, and progressive politics. Stay informed.